Shalom, everybody. This is Omar Mathis, otherwise known as Yahuda Ben Yisrael. And I still haven't decided what I'm going to call this. I'm probably going to call this The Job of the Mother and the Father. That's probably what I end up calling it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to write that down. The Job of the Mother and Father. Because these laws really don't sound like that. Like a lot of the laws, statutes, commandments, and judgment, there's a little bit more going on when you really sit down and you meditate on them. But I'm going to start. I'm not going to read this scripture out, but you know in Exodus 20 and 12 it says, honor thy mother and thy father, that their days may be long upon the land, which the Adonai, thy Elohim, giveth thee, or the Lord thy God giveth thee. And then there's another one in Leviticus 19. You shall fear every man his mother and his father, and keep my Sabbaths. But these are the ones that catches people's ear, of course, and causes certain people to, you know, act strange and throw the law in the garbage can and say they don't like the law. But I'm going to read them. Exodus 21 and 15. And he that smiteth his father or his mother shall be surely put to death. Exodus 21 and 17. And he that curses his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. Leviticus 20 and 9. For everyone that curses his father or his mother shall be surely put to death. He has cursed his father or his mother, his blood shall be upon him. Now I want to say something about cursing. That doesn't mean using bad language. That's what it means in the world that we live in now. Curse in the scripture means hoping for ill will for somebody. I hope, saying something like, I hope my mother and father get hit by a bus when they walk outside the door. You know. Now I'm going to go to Deuteronomy 21. If a man have a stubborn and rebellious son, which will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, and that when they have chastened him will not hearken unto them, then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him, and bring him out into the elders of his city, and into the gate of his place. Verse 20. And they shall say unto the elders of his city, this our son is stubborn and rebellious, he will not obey our voice, he is a glutton and a drunkard. 21. And all the men of his city shall stone him with stones that he die. So shalt thou put evil away from among you, and all Israel shall hear and fear. Now, first I want to say something. And again, I want people to really, when you deal with the law, statutes, commandments, and judgment, you have to kind of take a step back and remember that our Holy Father loves us. You know, he wants what's best for us. And so you need to meditate on him for a little while. Especially this one right here, because you have to think about it. Now, if a child is growing up in this type of culture, okay, and let's say we were actually living under these laws, statutes, commandments, and judgments, that culture should have no problem putting fear in a child's heart. If a child knows that this is what can happen if they curse their mother or their father, if they hit their mother or their father, if they are stubborn and rebellious and a drunkard, okay, and a glutton, they can be killed. That shouldn't have any problem scaring a child. Hey, if you look at TV right now, you look at Scared Straight. These are 13 to 14-year-olds who have committed crimes, and they can get scared straight by going to jail for a day or a few days. Okay, so this type of these type of laws, statutes, commandments, and judgments have no problem scaring a child, and also because a child's brain is not fully developed. A child's brain does not become fully developed until they're in their early 20s. But the adult's brain is fully developed now, isn't it? I was listening to someone by the name of Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. She's a woman who wrote a book called The ISIS Papers. She also deals with racism and white supremacy. Very smart woman. You all should look her up. Her name again is Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. What a lot of people don't know is she's actually a child psychologist. That's what her training is in. That's what she does for a living. She's been doing it for almost 40 years. And I heard her talk one day, and she said something that was really interesting. She said that when she counsels children, she's found that 90% of the time, it's not the children that are the problem. It's the adults. I thought that was interesting. But then, lo and behold, I read it a few months later. Again, 90% of the time, it's not the children that are the problem. It's the adults around them that are the problem. The mother, the father, other adults in the household. like I've already said, with a law like this, most children are going to be scared. Believe me, they're not going to be giving their parents any problems. But just imagine if they have some horrible parents. Imagine if they have some parents that don't pay attention to them like they should, who don't stop this type of behavior once it starts getting out of hand, because this type of behavior doesn't happen overnight. What if they have parents that don't pay attention to them at all? What if they have parents that are just jackasses, excuse my language, but just straight up jackasses? Just imagine. Imagine how easy it is for a child to be a drunkard and a disobedient, a son to be drunkard and disobedient if he has a mother and a father that are just horrible parents. I think we know the scripture that says the fruit does not fall far from the tree. I think we all remember that scripture. Yeah, I know I'm stepping on some toes here. I know I am, especially in that age group of 40 and 50 and 60 years old. Yeah, I know I'm stepping on some toes. I know I am. But that's really who this is about. That's why I'm going to call this the job of the father and the mother. Because what this is telling you as a father and a mother, or as a couple, is if you're not ready to pay full attention to your children, if you're not ready to give them the attention that they may need, because all children are different, if you're not ready to sacrifice your own ego to change how you might want to raise that child, then you don't need to be having children, because we're running into a serious situation here, where that child could end up standing before the elders because they have a bat crazy mama and daddy. Now, I know most of you didn't expect this to go like this, but that's really what it's about. That's common sense. Any child growing up in this type of culture is going to be scared. They ain't going to do nothing against their mother and their father. Now, if they're pushing that direction, that's the direction they'll go in. But again, they have to have some real crazy mama and daddy to do it. Real crazy. Now, this is a very short video. Didn't last very long because I was able to get straight to the point. Hopefully you all got something out of it, especially those of you who have children now, who can understand, if you did live under this type of system, the importance of swallowing your own ego sometimes, swallowing your own pride sometimes, and doing some things differently in order to keep your children on a straight and narrow path. You know, pay attention to their actions, pay attention to their behaviors when it changes. You know, the things that a parent is supposed to do. If you have any questions, hit me up at oldtestamentlaw@gmail.com. Follow me on Twitter. I like Twitter. I need some more Twitter followers too, because I'm just a fan of Twitter. But hit me up, follow me on Twitter at Old Testament Law. Again, if you just want to learn something about the law, statutes, commandments, and judgments, I'm glad that you watched this video. For the brothers and sisters, the Hebrew Israelites out there, my whole focus with you all is to make sure you all learn how to be nation builders. Shalom.